What up, y'all? It's your boy Ben here, and we're back again with another Pokemon Pocket video for you all. We're going to be going through some new decks here. That's right, over the weekend we had a splash of just surprise winners, top decks, and we actually went over that in our last video, so be sure to check that out if you're looking for some highly competitive decks here. But today what we're going to do is something a little different. So before we dive in, be sure to hit that like, subscribe, then click that notification bell button so that you do not miss out on a thing. And so that's right, ladies and gentlemen, what we're doing differently is taking a look at some new decks that have some high potential, catch your opponents off guard of a rank, because these decks still performed really well into some of these top meta decks into the tournaments over the weekend. So if you're kind of like me and you're just like, hey, I kind of see the same things over and over again, kind of want to try something new, want to play something new, that like each of yours is looking to try out some of these decks and still remain competitive, this video is for you. And even if you are like, I still like my Suicune and my Giratina, sure, but why don't you get yourself prepared to see what you might catch on the ladder, so that way no surprises catches on to you. So with that being said, let's go ahead and like look through just again. So many players, right? So many players over the weekend. Lots of fun things to like look through and look at as well. Really shout out to this like Pikachu Raikou EX deck. We actually did cover this, but this deck went and won first place. It was actually pretty cool to see something that's not Suicune or Darkrai do that. Just shout out to them. And so now let's just go ahead and dive right on into the decks. And the first one here is a little love to the Ultra Beast. You're kind of like going all in on the poison. We've seen this deck kind of run around before, but it's picking up some traction up again. You are dedicating your energy to the Guzzlord EX, but what's wonderful here is that like you don't need to grind core necessarily into Tyrannical Hole, which is just Guzzlord and Celesteela. What you now can do is really stack up that damage through this poison barb here, or Naganadol's effect. The Heliego lets you poison stacks when you're losing -10 per Pokemon checkup, you're actually losing -20. Third one out means you're actually losing -30 per turn, and now these basic EX mons are like losing a lot of health per turn, and they have no choice but to retreat. But this is where your Cyrus can come in to get that definitive blow and take them out here. Naganadol into Guzzlord EX is a wonderful 1-1-2 prize map here. You're not only attacking for 40, but you're poisoning them and getting that extra stack damage from the Heliego out there, serving as a good basis to be able to switch out and then start Tyrannical holding. From there, you can poison barb your Guzzlord as well in the beginning, since it doesn't deal poison damage, but that way you can still get that poison off because you're getting that automatic poison with Naganadol here. So overall, really looking for status here, really looking for this poison here, and you kind of have all of your attackers and your energy dealers here. So this person opted out for Mars and red card, but I would say these two are your flex spots to play an additional red if you need to play a Sabrina and additional Cyrus, because you know that you're tripping down with this as well too. But I do like a little bit of hand disruption, but I do understanding like having a Sabrina early to disrupt their energy gain or things like that, because it'd be super helpful here. So yeah, here's our first one. I'm gonna go into this Skarmory. Surprisingly pulled some good results out over the weekend as well, and you're going and playing 17 trainer here, so you're really building on this idea of being strong, right? Like we have Skarmory EX loaded to ground, 2 energy, you're dealing 70, and it's -20 damage from your opponent's attacks. You hit them with a Jasmine, then they do -50 on top of that. You hit it with a Steel Apron, then they do -10 on top of that. So there is a turn in which you are taking -80 damage, right? So this sustainability here is massive for keeping your Skarmory alive through all of this. And then because you're only playing 3 Pokemon, all of your slots then open up, right? You have your 1 Repel, your 1 Potion, you have your Pokemon Center Lady, like built, like keeping this healthy. There's hand disruption with Mars and red card and Silver, right? There's 3 opportunities to do that here. Silver I've been liking a lot bit more. just because information is key, just to kind of play around things that you weren't privy to, because you get to see your opponent's hand. The plus side is that you get to throw something back, but at least you know what they're planning, or how far ahead are they into their plan that they're trying to set forward. You got the Guzma, the Cyrus, the Sabrina, the Red, so you kind of have an answer to everything here, with the additional room to be able to hit a steel apron as well. So I really do like how slotted this really feels in terms of you being able to respond to what's the board. And even though you're dealing 70, the survivability, the sustain that you have with Skarmory EX, with Jasmine, with Steel Apron, with Pokemon Center Lady, with Potion, just allows you to live longer, so that way you don't have to really necessarily deal with a lot of things. What you can also do is just really make sure that you have your Skarmory EX up and ready to go. That way they don't, like Sabrina or anything else like that, so they disrupt your things that you've set up here. So in terms of like your defense, right, with Jasmine or Steel Apron. So yeah, this looks pretty fun to go with as well. I'm curious if like someone would ever play AroundThaBen on top of this as well, just to continue the defense, but this looks pretty great. All right, so let's continue to look at this next one. So this is just a mix of just having high attackers here. So this is opting to remove the Greninja line to use Magnezone in here until you're still running water only, so you can attack with Suicune. But as we know, Magneton and Giratina EX are the best for dual color decks, because they can generate their own energy. And since you just have water energy, Suicune you kind of want to have up front, because that's what draws you your engine here, right? Suicune loves a stage 2 mon, because then you get to attack with that, and then you have your other slots here. I wonder if this X speed might be a leaf, just because everything is 2 retreat costs. The X speed here allows, though, if you do have a Magnemite start, which is probably the only start that you don't want to have. You don't mind have Giratina up front, because then, or going first, because you can just get that energy going. But so the X speed kind of makes sense, because then you can play around here. But a leaf is not too bad either, especially since everything else is a double retreat cost from there. But Magnezone is a very powerful attacker. Giratina EX is a very powerful attacker. Suicune is very powerful, as we've already seen it, through its draw power, through its control, and through its ability to upscale up to 120, really controlling what your opponent's playing to the board here. And if they're not, you have clear options here. What's interesting about this as well too, now that like I think about it even more so, is that like opposing Greninjas and Oricorios, right? Like 110 clears a Greninja in one shot. Oricorios goes down in one shot. You are dealing 110, possibly 130 into opposing Suicunes, while also outliving what they're doing with 140. And then the red here can also clear out a Suicune in one. So, and it's only 1 point. So this is like meant to like counter what you're seeing, right? Like, because you can even if you're going into water decks, you can even get a Magnemite going off here with the water here, because it's colorless, and you're attacking for 30 for one into those water decks as well, while you're building up whatever you need. So overall, not too bad. Definitely is looking to play around the mirror by giving you another way of attacking effectively and efficiently, because you can concentrate the water energy on the Suicune. But overall, you do have weapons here to be able to attack and go into other things as well. All right, so that is this one, and let's continue on here. We have Umbreon coming back. Oh, turn that down. We have Umbreon coming back here, which is lovely. This Umbreon, this Dark Bind is seeing a lot more love, just in case you haven't seen it, or obviously haven't like played it yourself here. You have Dark Binding, which means that the defending Pokemon is a basic Pokemon. They can't attack your opponent next turn. So that's Giratina, Suicune, Arceus, Darkrai are really your main offenders here. You even have Guzzlord and any of those Ultra Beasts that like fall prey to this Umbreon here, which is like kind of nice. You have your Sylveon just to give yourself more room to draw your cards. You have Darkrai to help ping and deal more damage. You're softening things up with 40. Umbreon EX then chases them back up to the front. You don't have to worry about Cyrus, because you have this Dark Chase ability. With anything that has damage on it, bring it back to the active spot and dealing potentially 80 or 100 with Darkrai EX. So overall here, you're getting a clear answer into this meta game right now, right? Like it's like a lot of Suicunes, a lot of Darkrai's, a lot of Giratinas. This has a weakness advantage against Giratina as well. So that like puts you at 60, possibly 80 with the Darkrai. You're softening things up. You're wasting their turns. They can't attack you right away, and which is like really nice. A cape here could like also help you live a ping with the Darkrai EX. So that's not getting rid of right away. You are running only Dark Energy. Sylveon EX here is only meant to be used as draw power to get you into your other pieces here, because you do have Pokemon. You definitely do have Pokemon, but that is where Find a Friend and Sylveon EX really shine here in getting your pieces ready to go. From there, there was another take on this like legend basic EXs with Pokemon. So what we have here is just this kind of run. There are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 Pokemon in this deck, which to me feels like a lot. I don't know. and you're like, how do I deal with Oricorio? Pretty quickly you can attack for 40 with the Tyros. I think your Tyros are your options here. There's just 2 of them. You have Giovanni's to help you out with that there, but essentially you're just building up these 3 big attackers, and then just going from there. Snorlax being able to heal 20 per turn while dealing 130. Your Pokemon Singing Lady just to wake it right back up here. Obviously your Darkrai and your RC is 130 as long as your bench is filled, and Darkrai is hitting for 80 or plus 20 with this Nightmare Aura. So between the pings of Darkrai and the weakness with Tyrogue and a Giovanni, you can clear that out in one, which is like very interesting to see here. So ultimately, if you're going into electric decks, you kind of have a baby, a Darkrai, a Tyrogue, and another one that you're building up here just to kind of like build it up. So there's 2 babies to that. So that's just kind of like how you get around that sense as well. So this is interesting in that like all of these, you want to have like these energy going for these big guys here, but you also like the Tyrogue as well as a little slot because it requires no energy. I think that is like the key here. Because it has no energy, you can continue to stock up your energy onto the mons that eat it while still dealing that damage, extra damage, those extra chip shops as well. Tyrogue Darkrai is like a really fun combo because you're doing 40, possibly 50, possibly 60, possibly 70, you know, into weakness. So it's cool. It's cool. It's definitely flexible in that sense, and we love the fact that again it's still one price point and you can go from there. We continue into like seeing Executor memory light decks, right? Like so this is kind of like one of the first no, I mean we definitely have Donphan and like all those fun ones, but this here really takes advantage of that memory light. Well, being able to growth spurt into your Alolan Executor, being able to have that 150 HP, possibly 180 HP. You have your 2 willows to knock out that to get this guaranteed. So this is a big one for you. And then if your memory light is not there, you can always just evolve into your Executor EX and then just go in for 40 or for 80. So this is really fun because you can get your coin flips a lot more often than you think because of this will here, and you're just going between 80 or 150 to secure those and really surprise your opponent into getting those games in. So this is really nice. Not a lot of people expect to see this on the ranked, and also people don't expect the damage output to be its thing here, because growth spurt into memory light into Alolan Executor gets you attacking for 150 like very quickly. Like if you go first, here's my Execute, then I evolve, I memory light, I attack, I now have 2, and I'm attacking for Tropical Hammer like that next turn. Or I go first and I evolve into Executor EX and I'm attacking for 40, potentially 80 with the will, knocking out that basic that goes into stage 1, stage 2's right away. So like it's nice. It's real nice. I really like this a lot here. And then we go into this Tapu Koko EX Luxray deck here. You're really looking to build out. There's only like 4 basics, so you're really ensuring that you're drawing you're getting them consistently through this Pokeball here. This is Shinx. Luxray is 120. You're just using this really as just like a means of striking right away, getting that 120 in and out. You are chipping away with your Tapu Koko. You are saving yourself some time with your Oricorio, chipping that away too against these bigger EX decks. You're getting to that 90 and chipping away from there. And anything else that's in between is this Luxray right here. This Luxray is meant to be used as your sweeper here. I kind of don't mind running a second one, to be honest. I really do like the Luxray build out here. But essentially the way that this is being piloted here, you are chipping away with your Tapu Koko EX, with your Oricorio and your Luxray is your backup plan. Is that like, boom, I'm hitting, I have 130 HP, I have 2 Volkners, I can set up my Volt Bolt, attack, Volkner, attack, Volkner, attack, and how you do that pretty often. And so just being able to draw through here and get those cards in will really definitely go a long way. But yeah, y'all, let me know, what do y'all think about these newer style decks here. I think, oh, we do have one more. We have Ampharos and Raikou. I actually like this one as well. You get a will here to boost this up to 120 damage. And what Raikou being in here is great just because you love stage 2s with your draw power here. You're attacking for 60, attacking for 50, elemental switching up to get those quick attacks in. But this just essentially lets you find your Ampharos and let this be your big damage dealer, Cyrusing up something that's been poked at a couple of times. That's 100 and, you know, that's 20 damage there, 120, it's 140 right there, adding up, softening things up to clear this out, retreating this out space so that way you can go from here. This is, again, one price point, attack super powerful hits here, especially aided with the will, which is really nice in that sense as well. But yeah, y'all, I'm really liking the newer style makeups of these decks that folks have been putting together here. Let me know what your thoughts are. Are there any of these that like interest you, that you're interested in trying out as well? And if you do, let me know how that goes down below in the comment section. All right, y'all, we'll catch y'all in the next one. Until then, peace.